getting stuff ready with people, having a bunch of Zoom calls, talking to people about ideas on how I can do this better, planning out new social media platform stuff that I'll be sharing in the future episodes. And yeah, no, it's really exciting stuff. I'm incredibly excited for this. And I'll actually just let you know on one of them right now that starting next semester, I will be having a Talk Ag to Me TikTok. Hello and welcome to Talk Ag to Me, the podcast dedicated to improving ag literacy around the globe. I'm your host, Brennan Black, and welcome to the end of 2020, guys. And not just that, welcome to the end of Season 2 of Talk Ag to Me. Yep, I'm wrapping it up here. This is going to be the last, I guess you could say the last episode. Really, last week was our last episode, but this week is kind of an update for what's next for the podcast. So starting in January, I'm going to release the third season of Talk Ag to Me, and man, am I excited for it. Over the past 2.5 years since I started this podcast back in 2018, I have been working on trying to find a way to make this podcast work, to bring information to the public in ways that they typically wouldn't be able to get it. And so far, I've been fairly successful. The first season was about me collecting the information and learning about it, and the second season was about me giving it to the consumers. And it took me a little while to figure that out, and that actually wasn't my intended purpose, but here we are. So now comes the moment of truth. The third season is now going to culminate everything I've learned. It's going to culminate everything that I have developed about podcasting, all the friends that I've made, all the connections I've made in the ag podcasting sphere of the internet. And it's going to combine it all into a new advanced season that's going to have a whole bunch of new features. We're not doing just episodes anymore. We're still going to do interviews. We're still going to be interviewing consumers. We're going to be interviewing some farmers. We're going to bring on some other ag ed podcasters and other ag ed media people and try to almost form somewhat of an ag education coalition. That way we can have a better team about handling our conversations with the public. Not only that, we're going to be doing live streams. We're going to have all kinds of new stuff coming out as far as, interviewing people who we typically don't agree with on this podcast. I'm working on getting some people on here that I have stated before that I'm not fond of, but it's important, I believe, to have the conversation and to figure out what they believe and why they believe it before we just straight out attack them. And as anyone who's watched this or listened to this podcast knows, I'm not for attacking those I disagree with, but it's important to have these conversations and to figure out where our middle ground is. So we're going to have some people on here that we typically would not agree with, or maybe that don't agree with me. I want to learn where they come from their side of view, what their point of view is on issues regarding anti-agricultural belief systems, why they fear agriculture or oppose it for any reason, and see if we could either come to some kind of middle ground, or if not, just have it a civil discussion. So that kind of stuff is coming up in the near future. Just get excited for that. I have a couple new series I'm working on that I want you guys to be surprised by. And I may even have a couple new social media platforms. So I'll share all that kind of stuff at the beginning of the next season. But yeah, I hope all you guys are excited for all of this. I'm really excited. I've been working on this for a long time now. A few months I've been kind of putting in time recording episodes and scheduling live streams and getting stuff ready with people, having a bunch of Zoom calls, talking to people about ideas on how I can do this better, planning out new social media platform stuff that I'll be sharing in the future episodes. And yeah, no, it's really exciting stuff. I'm incredibly excited for this. And I'll actually just let you know on one of them right now that starting next semester, I will be having a Talk Ag to Me TikTok, which I never thought I was going to do, but after watching a lot of ag-based TikToks and how much good they can do for educating the public, I decided to start my own. So I'm going to be sharing ag facts. I'm not sure how frequently it's going to be or anything like that, but it's going to be TikTok, Talk Ag to Me as usual. So yeah, look out for that. But yeah, I really just wanted to give an update on what's going to be coming up next season. I'm not going to be releasing everything I'm doing next season because some of it's still in the works and I don't want to release anything that's not ready yet, but some of the things you guys can look forward to are some more solo episodes by me and not the boring ones I used to do. I've got a whole format now. I've got some new plans. I might even be releasing some speeches I'm working on. We'll see about that. But I've got live streams planned. I've got collaborations planned. I've got some new podcasters on the field that are going to be helping me out with some stuff. And it's really just going to be a really exciting project to see for the future of Talk Ag to Me. So I hope you guys are really excited. And I'd just like to say thanks for all that you guys have done for me over the past, especially this year, but over the past couple of years on this project. I've had an amazing amount of support. I greatly appreciate all you guys are putting in. we actually started ad revenue for the first time on this podcast, which I wasn't going to do, but I saw it as an opportunity because now any money I make on the podcast can go back into it and give you guys a better product. I've got some ideas for merch on the way that I'm not sure when they're going to come out, but hopefully soon. Let me know if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. If you're interested in having, if you guys would buy some of the merch I'd be releasing, if you guys are interested in me having more monetization on the podcast, that way I can give it back to the podcast and give you guys a better product and help out our cause of educating the public about agriculture. So those are all things that are in the works, but I really, really appreciate all of the support and help that I've gotten from all of my listeners, from the podcasting community as a whole, from, even people who tend to not agree with what I do with this podcast. They still, decided to help me with it. And that was awesome to learn. I've learned so much about consumers and about, conversations and relationships between farming and agriculture as a whole and the consumer population. And I've actually been proven wrong a few times. I've learned quite a bit about what I know and how much I actually didn't know. I went into this with the idea that consumers don't want to know about agriculture and that I was going to have to force it, into the conversations, and that hasn't been the case whatsoever. And in fact, they're almost eager to learn about it. They're asking questions that I'm not even fully aware of the answer of. I've had some questions I literally had to tell them, like, hey, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But like, they're so curious about agriculture, and that was so nice to see. And that's what motivated me to start season 3 and to really, really hunker down on answering some really tough questions, and to get the perspective from other ag ed media people on what their perspective is on how we should be talking to consumers. And I've even grown to not consider consumers a separate aspect of community than agriculture, but that they can be intertwined eventually. I've learned a lot about how agriculture can be taught through other mediums, like relating it to movies and video games and other mainstream media, and not just talking about it in scientific terms like it usually is discussed. Like, there's an intense amount of different ways we can teach agriculture that we're still trying to figure out, and I'm really excited that I get to be one of those entrepreneurs, or not entrepreneurs, pioneers. That's what I was looking for, in trying to figure out how those methods could be used. So I'm really excited for all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I was not expecting to do ad revenue or get any kind of financial support, and we also got our first supporter a couple months ago, someone by the name of Faith. I still don't know who you are, but thanks again for your monthly subscription. It means a lot to show that people are willing to support this financially. But it's so incredible to see how much support the podcast has gotten since I decided to go online and meet people from outside my typical conversational sphere. And that was life-changing. Anyone who's trying to educate someone on a topic, go to the place you least expect them to listen, and you'd be surprised. So I'm really excited for season 3. I hope you guys are too. I hope all of you are still tuning in and catching episodes and keeping up with me. And I know that my engagement probably hasn't been as good as it could be. I'm not having as many conversations as usual, but that's why I'm recording stuff early, so I can have more time to talk to you guys, more time to have these discussions, to be on other podcasts, to share around the word of agriculture essentially, and also just have some fun with the podcast. Have some jokes on here, play some games, stuff like that. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, this podcast is for you guys. It is for me too. It's a tool to help me become a better teacher in the future, but in reality, it's for all of you listeners to either learn something about agriculture or learn how to have better conversations. So that's all I have for you guys. I really hope that you guys are excited for season 3. I hope you tune in. It's going to be a couple weeks before you hear from me, because the next week you guys hear an episode. It's not going to be your traditional episode, but I'm really excited to say the least. So thank you all so much for all of your support over these past couple years, and I hope to see you next week and the week after and every week after that. So again, thank you, and don't forget, if you ate today, thank a farmer.